folks. I'm sorry about all the problems. I'm gonna be with you 1 second. Okay, folks. We had some problems with Facebook this morning. Between last night and this morning, they changed the way we go live and had to make some last-minute changes. I apologize for the delay. Okay. Today is January 10th, 2026, and welcome to Coffee with the Crew. Between Facebook issues and some updated software with the way we're streaming, I appreciate you and your patience waiting for us. Let Noelle know in the comments if you can see us and hear us okay. For those of you that are new, this is Coffee with the Crew. We do a Facebook Live once a month. We're a special needs dog rescue, and these are some of our sanctuary dogs that are not adoptable for various reasons. And this gives you a chance to visit with us, meet the dogs, ask any questions you have, and we try and share some educational tidbits as well. Hope you all enjoyed your holidays. They were kind of busy here. We had surprise visits. By the way, I'm John. I'm the director of Rescued Rollers. We've been doing this for about 10 years. My wife, Noelle, is behind the camera. She's working the comments. So if you have questions about what we do or about some of the dogs, feel free to ask and she'll relay them to me. We have a few little things we're going to share with you about how we care for the dogs. That's going to be our educational.
She says no sound here.
Karen, no sound. Check your volume, please. Somebody besides Karen, let me know about the sound, please. So we're going to continue until we hear back about the audio. Let me double check. We should be sending audio.
I'm getting audio.
Everything looks good on my end, Karen. Check your settings, your volume. So before we get started, we've been doing this about 10 years. We have all sorts of special needs dogs, blind, deaf, seizures, spinal injuries, tripods. Fenny here was thrown from a car and has mobility issues, and she's incontinent. I hope you can see Fenny. We've got Roxanne, the other little black one. She's a tripod from the Bahamas. We have Journey laying on her bed. She's got spinal issues, hip issues, and we think some hypoplasia. Wyatt, hunchback dwarfism. Mila obviously is in a wheelchair. She had her brain didn't develop properly. So I hope you can see all these guys. I don't have a good preview, and that's our parrot baby in the background if the microphone's picking up baby.
Sherry Rary says hi. Robin Sinclair says hi. She's here from Iowa.
Hi, Sherry. Hi, Robin. Glad to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Jason McLaren said he can see and hear, and Zoe says hi.
Jason, thank you. Hi, Zoe.
Karen Chi-Chi checked in. She's got it. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Karen, because we're going to share a little tidbit later that may interest you. I'm working with a little bit of a cold today, so I'm going to be drinking a lot of water, a lot of coffee, and I've got cough drops here, so please be patient if my voice is out. If you need more volume or something, I'll speak louder. Just let me know. Before we get really started, I want to send a big shout out to my friend, Texas Search. She has been a very long time supporter of our dogs, our rescue, and also she's been a monthly donor for as long as I can remember. Yesterday, we received a box, 8 pounds of what I think are pig ears. Dogs are going to go nuts, and it was in memory of her wheelchair dog, Slinky. So thank you very much for that, Texas Search and Slinky. We appreciate that. These dogs, I've got a picture. I'll put it up later when I send you a thank you. Hawkeye
World says happy babies.
Yeah, Hawkeye was going nuts when he watched me open the box. Okay, so our next broadcast is going to be February 14th, Valentine's Day, just a heads up. We're still going to do it. And as usual, our replays are going to be put on our YouTube channel. Okay, so a few hours after we finish this broadcast, you'll be able to watch the replay on YouTube because Facebook deletes these 30 days after we put them up, and it's actually been a little less than 30 days. So that's the deal with that. If you want to watch a good replay, go over to YouTube. And
Sinclair says her shadow has been in a wheelchair for 8.5 years.
all right, Robin, it's a lot of work, but you know, they're just different. They're not less. That's what we tell everybody. Good for you. What kind of dog is it, Robin? I'm curious, size-wise. And in terms of Mila in the wheelchair, I don't know if she's on camera or not. I can't really see very well right now.
Not yet.
Mila gets spastic, especially when our cat Hobbs comes in the room. So this is very casual. This is our morning coffee with the dogs. You're going to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. If Mila's trying to chase the cat, if one of the dogs has an accident on the rug, you know, the dogs bark, the parrot starts talking. Welcome to our world, right? Okay, one of the things I wanted to talk about a little bit, and Noelle will interrupt me if you guys have questions or comments. I want to show you, we talked a little bit last month about how we made a walk box for Mila. And it's something that I've never seen before. Just, I had a good idea and it worked out. And I went down the road of how you can be creative in caring for your pets. And some of the ways we've had to get creative. And one of the big reasons we had to get creative is we have a lot of larger dogs that are paralyzed or have spinal injuries. We had Rex, who was about a 100-pound German Shepherd, Ranger, who was probably 70 pounds. We've got Journey, although she's not paralyzed, she's got some mobility issues. Wyatt's close to 50 pounds. Mila's heading towards 50 pounds. And the reason we have to get creative is because sometimes I have to care for these dogs by myself. My full-time job is running the rescue, which, by the way, I donate my time. All your donations go straight toward the dogs. Everybody's volunteering this rescue. So anyway, I have to figure out how to care for these dogs when I'm by myself. When Noelle's here, she helps. I have volunteers or neighbors that will help me when I need it. But in general, I have to be able to provide medical care or a sanitary trim or clean these dogs up when I'm by myself. And that can be hard with a paralyzed dog. So I dug through the archives. Some of these pictures and these little video snippets are old, and they're not great because I never intended to publicize them. So, you know, bear with that. But what I'd like to do is we're going to start with some simple things. Let's start with lifting harness. I keep, because we've done this for so long and we have so many dogs that need help with harness, I keep, no guys, not yet. They think that I got the treat pouch. So I keep these abdominal harnesses, lifting harnesses, all over the house. They're all over, inside and outside, right? But sometimes they're not handy. And I know many of you have probably heard that shopping or a bath towel. I want to show you a picture of how we do this. This.
While you're pulling up that picture, Robin's got it's a Chipu, a 12-pound.
Oh, Robin. Okay, thank you. A Chipu, 12 pounds. That's a little easier than some of the heavy weights that we've had here. But thank you for sticking with it. So this is two pictures I grabbed off the internet. These are not mine. If you don't have a lifting harness like this, and you could probably get them on Amazon for 10, 12 bucks, and Chewy and all the major dog places. On the left-hand side, I believe it's going to be your left, is a woman holding a border collie, and she's got a towel. You can use a bath towel just like this. I'm not going to show you because I've got all the dogs in front of me and it's crowded. And I understand that. And I've got Wyatt in front of me sleeping. But bath towel is fantastic. It's easy. And if your dog is also incontinent, it helps absorb the mess if it's a male dog. On the right-hand side, I'm sure you've heard the, thank you, baby. That's baby. That's my Indian ringneck parrot baby. So on the right-hand side, you see a shopping bag. That's one of those cloth shopping bags, and they have cut the narrow sides out. So you have the handles, and you can use the full-size bag as a sling. In an emergency, that will work. I'm not real thrilled with doing that because I don't trust the handles. And if I have an injured dog, the last thing I want to do is drop it. If you do, excuse me, if you do want to use that kind of a sling, you're going to want to put a dish towel or something on the inside because as you, love my baby dog, you're going to want to put a dish towel on the bottom for padding because some of those fabric edges can get a little sharp when you cut them. So, you know, that's the best thing I can recommend is a towel. If you don't have one of these lifting harnesses, use a towel. They're easy. And so that's one of the things that I want to share with you guys. It's easy. You have to be careful. I want to put this out there. I'm not a vet, right? And so safety disclaimer, check any of these things with your vet. I apologize for baby, but welcome to my world. Depending on the type of back injury or leg injury your dog may have, some of these slings can make the problem worse. So you need to be very careful. Always check with your vet before you try something new, because some of these things I'm going to show you here in a few minutes, they could cause problems if it's not the right situation with your dog. Oh, Mila just hit a squeak toy. Did you see everybody wake up? And don't mind me, my phone is my remote control for the snippets that I'm showing you, the videos and the photos. So that's why I have to look at my phone.
Robin Sinclair said that her Shadow, the Chipu, had a bulging disc after surgery.
Yes.
They thought she'd have to put her to sleep, and they gave her 3 days.
Right.
And then she was able to
Okay.
her in, recovery and
Right.
into the wheelchair.
Good, Robin. That's good to know. We've had several dogs come in. Robin said that her wheelchair dog had a bulging disc, and that caused the mobility problems. We've had several of those. Ranger, who I'm going to show you here in a minute. That's a great segue into Ranger. Thank you for that. Dogs with injuries like that, you don't want to use these slings until you talk to your vet. They need more support, okay? The way you lift a dog, depending on the type of sling, is going to change the weight distribution and the way they flex their muscles. And so you need to be careful, right? Check with your vet, make sure it's okay. Since we talked about paralyzed dogs and what I did a few times, first thing I want to do is I want to show you a full body lifting harness. If you guys have been here a while, you saw me use this with Cooper, but we use this with many of our dogs. It's 2 pieces, and right now I have them connected together wrong because for storage. Just ignore that. You have one piece that goes over the shoulders like a normal walking harness. One piece that goes on the butt, over the hips, so that you have 2 handles, hip and shoulders, that you can physically lift the dog in. We use these a lot here for our mobility challenge dogs. And that's my segue into this next piece of creativity. Ranger was a paralyzed border collie. He's in a wheelchair. We brought him up here. He was the inspiration behind us starting Rescued Rollers. I hope you guys can hear me over baby. I'm sorry, she's usually not this bad. Hawkeye, you're great on camera. So we brought Ranger in. Ranger was paralyzed. And going back to the fact that I need to work on him by myself. We're in a pretty rural area. For specialized treatment like water therapy and treadmill therapy, which I'm going to show you a couple quick videos on that. It's not always possible for me to get these guys 2 hours to Cleveland, Columbus for therapy and spend a whole day doing that when I have other dogs I have to take care of. And cost is always a factor. We're a small rescue. So what we did to get creative, Hawkeye, settle. Roxanne, So what we did to get creative with Ranger, and this was the first time I had to get creative. Ranger was our very first special needs dog, and we were learning as we went. What I did, if you remember the lifting sling, somebody donated a treadmill. And if you look at this picture, baby's very talkative today. If you look at the top of this picture, above the treadmill, what I did was I built a 2x4 frame. And you could see that extending over top near the top of the dresser. And with a couple hooks in there, I was able to connect Ranger's lifting harness to that arm. And once I started the treadmill, I could go behind Ranger and move his legs to help bring back his muscle mass because he had real bad atrophy in the back end. But this allowed me to have the treadmill and the frame hold him up, and I could work his legs. So that was very important for us. Now we're talking about lifting harnesses. Another thing that I had to do, we're going to go take a look at some grooming arms. This next slide, this is a horrible picture, but I want you to take a look above the dogs. On the left is Ranger, on the right is Rex. Each one of these dogs, you could see the curved metal bars above them. Those are grooming arms, like your dog groomer would use when they're doing a haircut. And I have bought special heavy-duty ones. Don't just buy a cheap one. But I bought heavy-duty ones that would hold 60 pounds per arm. I clamped them on the back of my desk, as you can see on the right, with Rex. And what that allowed me to do was take that same lifting harness, connect it to the grooming arms. It would hold them upright. So whether I needed to do a sanitary trim, change a bandage, whatever it is I needed to do, that would hold them upright for me while I was here alone. And it worked out very well.
Debbie Noon says good morning.
Good morning, Debbie. Excuse me. So, you could get creative with the ways you have to do things. A couple of things we did with Mila. We talked about Mila's walk box. We could take a look at that here for a minute. This is a cute video. Don't get caught up in Mila's walk box. What I did was Mila has, I'm going to see if I can bring her over here so you can see her a little bit before we go to this slide. Come here, Mimi. Watch out, buddy. Watch out, buddy. Thank you. Okay, so this is Mila. Mila was born basically, I apologize, but welcome to my world. At least the shepherds are being quiet for us. So this is Mila. She's a sweet girl. She visits schools and nursing homes and things like that with us, and she does fantastic. But Mila was born, half of her brain did not develop properly. So she's, not only is she physically not really developed, but also she's not mentally fully developed. Her name means miracle, and she's almost 5 years old. We did not expect her to live more than a year. But Mila has no balance, okay? If she's not in this wheelchair, I really apologize about baby. She's usually not like this. If Mila's not in her wheelchair, she's laying flat on her side. She does not have the ability to sit, stand, or even lay upright. She's flat out on her side, okay? So this chair is important for her, and she gets very spastic, if you haven't noticed already. So when she arrived as a puppy, she was about 12 weeks old, and the problem was she had been laying on her side most of the time because she couldn't stand. So we wanted to find a way to fight against muscle atrophy, make her legs a little stronger, and work on her balance. So we came up with something I call a walk box. Let's take a look at it. What I want you to look at, though, is she's cute. Look at the walk box. It's basically two long pieces of wood that are set up like a hallway. I just put a 2x4 underneath each side so they'd stand upright. You'll see it right now. So you can see this. What happens now is we can get her to stand up. Those two boards provide support. It's like a very narrow hallway, so she can't fall over. And by using that to get her to walk, we were able to work on her balance and also some of her muscle strength. So that worked out real well. Do you want to see it one more time? That went kind of quick, didn't it? And where do we go here?
Saw it the first time.
Okay. Yeah. So this is the walk box. You know, this ended up being very helpful for Mila. Just two boards that took her balance out of the equation and allowed her to work her muscles, which was our goal, right? We were hoping it would help a little more with her balance, but physically she can't. So the next thing I want to show you is swim therapy. We're going to watch this one twice. Don't worry so much about her in the pool. We do not have a pool here. Excuse me. We do not have a pool. And I wanted to do swim therapy with her. She was too large to fit in our bathtub after just a few weeks. So what we did is that steel tank is a stock trough from Tractor Supply. You could get these at any farm supply store. They're used for food and water for animals. They come in various sizes, various shapes. This particular walk block was roughly 3 feet wide by 8 feet long. And it's 3.5, almost 4 feet deep. So I was able to put Mila in there, as you saw, and do swim therapy with her, even though we don't have a pool. So, you know, you could get creative on some of this stuff. And since Mila's such a good candidate, you see how she's spastic on camera right now? Well, all right, Roxanne, slow down. So when she eats, Mila has to eat in her wheelchair, right? And when she's spastic like this, she moves all over, she spills her food, etc. So I thought of parking boots, like on your car. When you park your car and it gets booted, you can't drive it. I made these, I call them chalk blocks. And it's just, I didn't bring one in here to show you, I'm sorry. They're basically, it's just a rectangle made out of 2x4s that I set underneath her wheels. And so by having those under her wheels, she can't move her chair unintentionally, and she can stay there and eat normally. So some of these silly little things you can get creative with, but they really make your life easier in the long run. And while we're talking about food, my last piece of creativity for you, just something to think about to give you ideas. We have dogs that love food puzzles, and we have dogs that hate food puzzles. Fen is a master at food puzzles. Sarge does not like them. Sarge likes his kibble rolled up in a towel, and he has to untie the towel, hand towel. We have Xena, who loves the lick mats. But if you don't, I'm really sorry. I'm glad you guys got to meet Baby, though. If you don't have food puzzles handy, or you don't want to spend the money because your dog may or may not like them, the top two pictures, I know they're a little small, but muffin pans. You can put a little bit of kibble in the bottom of the muffin pans. I've seen people put yogurt and freeze it. And you could put, in this picture, they've got toys on top of it. You could put toys on top of it. You could put whatever you want on top of it. And they have to move the items to get to the treats. Very good mental stimulation for them. It's a great way to kill some time on a rainy day or a snowy day. The bottom left, the Golden Retriever with the solo cups, the shell game. That is one of my favorite games to play with the dogs that are able to. I had my Josie, we would play this shell game. It's just like you see on the streets of New York City. You put a treat under one of the solo cups, and then you slowly mix it up, and you make the dog pick which cup it is. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't take them too long to figure out which cup they're going to get, especially if you start with different colored cups, because they'll notice the shade of the cup, the color shade of the cup you put the treat under. So you could start with 3 different color cups and then work up to all the same color cups. On the lower right is the same thing. It's a kibble in a muffin pan covered with tennis balls. So they get all sorts of mental activity enrichment out of that. So that's what we have for today. Those are some of the ways that we've had to get creative to make our life easier and make us able to handle these dogs when we're on our own. And wow, you got a nice view, everybody. You can see these guys on their bed. Everybody's resting. We got Mila finally calmed down, baby finally quiet. So what do you guys think about the grooming arms, the walk box, the water therapy? Are you seeing the theme here that you can get creative when it comes to caring for your own dogs? It's just a matter of chewing on that idea long enough to get the idea, you know?
Cheryl Kraft says Mila's mom hates food puzzles. She looks insulted.
For those of you watching, Cheryl Kraft is Mila's mom. And what she's referring to is, Mila's biological mom. But Mila came to us from Cheryl. And Cheryl, I'm with you on the whole food puzzle thing because Sarge will turn up his nose at it. Some of these other guys will turn up their nose, but Fen loves the challenge. So it depends on dog. And there's no way Mila could do a puzzle. We don't even try that with Mila. She does not have the coordination to do that. It's hard enough to get her to eat out of a bowl without spilling it. So are you guys enjoying these lives?
Jason McLaren says that Zoe loves her snuffle mat.
Good. Yes, snuffle mats. I forgot to mention that. Thank you, Jason. Snuffle mats is another great one. And as a matter of fact, I just saw for the first time that Kong has released a snuffle chicken. Instead of feathers, the chicken has some sort of covering where you tuck the kibble inside the chicken feathers. And so it's got a snuffle chicken. Interesting. I'm going to have to look into that because a couple of our dogs would enjoy that.
We're getting a lot of hearts and thumbs
So-
and laughs and emojis flying up the screen here.
Is anybody that's watching, and I'm sorry, I can't see your comments or who's here. Noelle is managing that as usual. Do you have any questions, comments about any of the dogs or the rescue or anything at all? We did the creativity things. That was my goal today, is to instill in you some ideas that you can think out of the box. It doesn't have to be store-bought to work. I mean, somebody donated that treadmill from Ranger, and it struck me I could put a frame on it to hold him up, and there we are. So there's ways around it, especially if you're in a rural setting where you don't have access to a lot of things, or if the budget's tight. All right, I'm going to pull Mila out of the way here because
Renee Hill says great information. Tashi Prasad, absolutely love your crew.
Hi,
Live
Renee.
mornings.
Hi, Tashi. Thank you guys for showing up. Once we got the bugs figured out this morning, I'm hoping that you have better video and audio quality than in the past. I can't believe it's only been since last month, but we updated everything for this stream, and I'm really happy with the new setup. Our late start today was compliments of Facebook. I did a test earlier this morning. It was perfect. When I went to do the actual live, in between those 2 times, Facebook changed the setup, and it was an issue. So I apologize for the late start. They should be smooth as silk going forward, I hope, if I didn't jinx myself. I'm going to pick Mila up and take her away from these guys so they can rest and she won't run them over. Throw some questions at me, guys, so we have something to talk about. And that's the other advantage of the lifting harness. When they're in a wheelchair, you can pick them and the chair up. I know, guys, I know. There you go, Mimi. Good job, guys. And as usual, Journey and Wyatt and Fen and Roxy are all hanging out together. Aren't they cute? I love these guys. We have some amazing dogs. How about some treats, you guys? Hawkeye, come get some. Slow down, slow down. There's enough for everybody. these guys are awesome. And as you can see, this main group, none of them have resource guarding issues. They're really good about it. They're, you know, if they need their personal space, they give a warning, and the other dogs really pay attention to it. This is a good group. Fen. Fen is a little food shark. You got to watch your fingers with Fen. Little piranha. There's one under you, buddy. Right here. So, do we have some questions, folks?
Tashi Prasad says your reception is awesome this morning.
Thank you, Tashi.
McLaren asked, what was Roxy's approximate age when you guys got her?
Roxy was about 4 or 5 months old when we got her. Jason wants to know how old Roxy was when we got her. Roxy came up as part of what we call the Pot Cake Express. We brought up, over the space of 2 weeks, we brought up 4 dogs from the Bahamas that all needed medical care. Roxanne was a tripod, and she was in bad shape. Excuse the pausing. I don't want to fight baby over this. So Roxy was about 4 months old. She came to us just like Zoe with a tripod. We think that as a puppy, as a street dog, a rat chewed off her leg. It's very common in the Bahamas. She needed surgery that she could not get there. And she also had a very, very bad case of sarcoptic mange. So we brought her in. She was quarantined in our basement for about 8 weeks. Similar to Zoe, if you guys don't know, Jason has Zoe, who is also a pot cake, and a tripod. Similar to Zoe, we had to clean up the amputation on Roxanne's leg. But she came to us when she was about 4 months old. And she's roughly 4, maybe going on 5 years old now. It's hard for me to keep all of them straight. But she's about 4 years old now. So she's been here about 3.5 years. She stays with us because... I'm sorry, 2020?
2020.
Okay, so this will be year 6. She came in 2020. She is a sanctuary dog because she's incredibly nervous of people. She was a street dog, and she doesn't like anybody but myself and my wife. We have had visitors come here repeatedly that she knows, and even the neighbors, and she will not get anywhere near them, and she's a flight risk when there's people. So she's here for that reason. She's comfortable.
Kevin Noon says hi.
Kevin, hello, buddy.
Karen Chichi asks, do you find yourselves having to add more cushions at pressure points? Harnesses fit every dog differently, and I can imagine pressure sores are a constant threat.
Yes, that is a great question, Karen. I do not have one here, but let me show you something. What we have found, and I do this with Mila specifically. I don't have it where you can see it, I think. Maybe I do. Anyway, yes, especially the back leg harnesses like you would be using, Karen. Let me show you on camera. And if I have to, I'll bring Mila in here because I think I have her harness. On these straps that would go under the hips, up and around the legs, I have like fake sheepskin that we cut into long strips, and we wrap around the strap. So she actually is sitting on sheepskin rather than the strap. And on the lifting harnesses, we do that a lot. Noelle, at one point, we bought a bunch of fleece, like you use for fleece PJs, fleece blanket. Walmart sells those little cheap fleece blankets all the time. We cut them in strips, and Noelle sewed them into a tube that we could slide onto the strap so that she would have fleece versus the hard nylon or canvas, whatever your harness is. But yes, we do pad. And Mila's wheelchairs, her harness for her back legs, we have those covered in sheepskin, especially when we go do a long afternoon at a school with a classroom. And would you bring me the knife, honey? I'm going to show you one other piece of creativity in just a second. But Karen, yes, we use padding all the time. You know, here's my other creativity tip that I haven't told anybody. If you have dogs that poop in the house, like Wyatt just did, putty knife. Putty knife is awesome to pick up poop. And you can scrape it up right off the rug. I told you this is live. Welcome to our world. I'm surprised it's only one. So yeah, Karen, padding, absolutely. We have found fleece to work well for the short-term use, like if you're only going to be in a harness for an hour. We have found the fake sheepskin to be better for Mila, who is in her chair about 4 hours at a time. Thank you. So yes, absolutely. We do what we need to do to pat them. And some of the places on Mila's wheelchair, I don't want to bring her back in because you can see the guys are all spread out in front of me. But like if you have a wheelchair dog that still has use of their legs, like Mila, although she can't control her movements, her proprioception is horrible. The axle bolt that goes through the rear wheels, I actually put a piece of foam padding on them like a pool noodle, and I use vet wrap then to wrap the leg around the, yeah, you could throw those over here. Thank you. And I use vet wrap to hold the pool noodle in place so that as she gets spastic and kicks where those bolts are, she's padded, she's safe. So, no, it's not a treat, guys. This is for me to wipe my hands. So, yeah, padding, absolutely. Good job.
Kathy Ball says, "Your beautiful blessings. Thank you for all you do."
Kathy, I haven't heard from you in forever. It's good to have you. Thank you for stopping by. We love our dogs. I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. These guys are hard. They are a lot of work. But each one of these guys is amazing, and I wouldn't trade any of them for the world. It's a fair trade. The problems with these guys, you know, we've got Mila in a wheelchair. We've got Fen, who was thrown out of a car and doesn't have full mobility or bladder control. Wyatt, hunchback dwarfism, birth defect, incontinent. Roxanne, tripod. Journey, all sorts of spinal issues. These aren't behavior problems, like the mess I just had to clean up. Is it frustrating sometimes? Oh, absolutely, right? But I can't get mad. It's not behavior. It's a medical problem. And if I had a son or a daughter that had a medical problem, we'd cope with it. They're still a gift. They're amazing, amazing animals. And we're hoping that some of these Facebook Lives and a couple of things we have on our radar I'll talk about in a second, we're hoping to expand our foster program so that we have more people realize how awesome these guys are. Wyatt came to us from Perfect Imperfections up in Watertown, Connecticut. And he was supposed to come down with Journey. Somebody was all fired up to adopt him, so the day before the transport, Wyatt got adopted. Halfway between Connecticut and Ohio, we got Journey. The following day, they returned Wyatt because they couldn't get him house trained on their schedule. Now, in one day, it was the day after the transport. So Debbie Noon, who's on here and on our board of directors, was kind enough. She made a second trip up to Northeast Pennsylvania to meet the transport for Wyatt. But that's not his fault. You saw how easy that was to clean up. And he gets a lot of baths. Christmas morning, you guys probably saw the post. They get all excited for all the treats and all the excitement, and they have accidents. So you just plop them in the bath. That's all. But they're incredible dogs. Wyatt is such a great ambassador, it's not funny. He loves everybody and every animal he's ever met. Hi, Fenny. Speaking of Wyatt, one last piece of creativity advice for you guys, because I didn't realize this particular idea until we got Fenny here. Now, Fen was thrown out of a car. When she got to us, she basically scooted all the time. She couldn't walk, maybe 5% of the time. And she's also incontinent. So we ended up, the foster that brought her to me said that she was using onesies for toddlers, for human toddlers, onesies. And so at night, we would put her in a onesie, and it would contain the mess, and it also help stop the abrasions, right? Okay, fair enough. That's the background. What we discovered after that was that sometimes clothing can be creative. Years ago, I said I'd never dress a dog. Well, I lied, because I have. Wyatt, for instance, he's a great ambassador, but the problem is he's incontinent. And so no matter how we wrap him, due to his hunchback dwarfism, you probably can't see it real well on camera, but his back end is not shaped normally. We cannot just put a diaper on him because he leaks outside of the diaper. He'll spray outside of the diaper. So what we have to do is we put a diaper on him and a diaper cover, and in front of that, we put a male wrap. And so he ends up almost all the way up to his shoulders wrapped in diaper, right? Diaper material when we go to the vet. Well, I want to take Wyatt in public more often to become an ambassador like Mila. So we discovered there's pictures on our Facebook page way back. I don't have them ready for you today, but we bought a pair of doggy overalls for Wyatt. And what that does is if he is all the way up to his shoulders with diapers, there's no way to hold him in place real easily, especially out in public. So we cover him up with a really cute set of doggy overalls, and we put a red bandana in his pocket. He looks like a little farmer dog. Now, what we figure out after the fact, let me show you Fenny. I don't know if you could see this clearly or not. Come here, girlfriend. Fen gets an abrasion on her hip over here, right where my hand is, okay? And I've been talking to the vet about this. Fen is on her feet about 95% of the time now, but she will scoot. And what happens is she gets an abrasion on her hip. It's in a really hard place to try and bandage or cover. A diaper cover doesn't work. It's not in a place where we can bandage it. And even my vet, we've talked to her a ton of times, didn't have any good ideas. Well, what we figured out, that same set of overalls we used for Wyatt, we bought a smaller set, and I'm not going to put it on her, but it's got legs. And so if I dress her, that covers up her hips. Like you could see, you could probably see here. I don't know how good the view is. Yeah. If you have a sore on the thigh, for instance, that you can't bandage, sometimes you can use clothing to pick up the abrasion. And the beauty of the dog overalls, we got these on Amazon. I just searched on dog overalls. The beauty of these, Fen is incontinent, right? Bladder and bowels, both incontinent. I don't like having her fully covered in the back because it leads to a bigger mess and UTIs. The doggy-specific overalls, they have a cutout in the back. They have legs, so you can cover their legs, but their butt is free. She can go to the bathroom, and it's not on her. So, you can even get creative with clothing. That's one way we use overalls, both for Wyatt to keep his incontinent padding in place, and for Fen, when that abrasion gets bad, we just slap some antibiotic lotion on it and put a pair of coveralls on her. We've also used suspenders. You can, if you have a diaper cover, like Karen Chichi, your girl with spina bifida, a diaper cover, a lot of times we have used suspenders to go over their shoulders, or if they have a harness, we use the mattress clips, to keep your sheets clipped to your mattress. They're little 6-inch long elastic clips for your mattress, your sheet covers. We use those clips to hold the diaper cover to her harness or her collar. So it's just a matter, you got to think out of the box, and it can make your life a lot easier. Now, we only have about 5 minutes left. So now's a good time if anybody has questions or about the dogs, about the rescue, about how we might handle a certain situation. Now's the time to ask. Now, our next video, our next live broadcast is going to be on February 14th at 10 a.m. That's the second Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. The replays all go over to our YouTube channel. Karen, Karen Chichi, I'm gonna reach out to you in a few weeks. While we're redesigning our foster program, since we can't bring any dogs until we have more fosters, we're focusing on some of the education that we can do while we're working on the foster program. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to start a rescue chat. It's going to be on our YouTube channel. 15 minutes. It's going to be a video podcast about how we handle different things like social media, how we handle certain dogs, how we try and find volunteers, different questions that come up as a rescue, how to partner. And that's going to be a couple episodes a week. And we're looking to start that in February. After that, we have a whole curriculum. We're going to do a set of educational classes that you can take online, video and text, how to care for a handicapped dog, and that's going to be free. We're going to have some specific ones on how to handle hypoplasia, for instance, things like that. We're going to have a whole range of courses that are in development while we try and build up our foster program, because right now, the only thing holding us back from saving more dogs is we don't have enough fosters. Noelle and I are getting older. We've got enough dogs here. So we're going to focus on education and helping people learn how to care for their own dogs. So hopefully we become a resource for assistance that they don't have to surrender their dogs. In the meantime, we'll continue to build the foster program.
Karen Chichi says her cannoli has the spina bifida.
Right.
Wears diapers through the day, is naked overnight in a crate.
Right.
Every day she gets baths on her back half to keep the skin clean and avoid rashes.
Right. And that, I don't know if you could hear Noelle giving me the comments or not. That was Karen talking about her spina bifida dog. And yeah, Karen, there is a product I have used called Calmoseptine, and I could probably send you a link later. It is a very good product to use for diaper rash, but the problem is it's pink. I mean, really pink, and it's like Bag Balm. I actually prefer Bag Balm because it's clear. This is like pink Bag Balm. It works really, really well, but it will stain her clothing, her mat, her padding. It'll stain anything it gets touched in contact with. It'll stain it pink. It's a great product if it's something that Bag Balm or other salves won't fix. It's called Calmoseptine.
I found it on Amazon. I'll put a link in.
And Noelle's going to go ahead and she found it on Amazon. She's going to put a link on the comments for you, Karen. Again, I have it here. I use it when some of these guys get a bad case of diaper rash or a hot spot. But my first go-to is AAA antibiotic lotion or Bag Balm because it doesn't stain. This Calmoseptine, I actually use surgical gloves to put it on because otherwise my hands are pink for 2 days. Fantastic product if you need a result, but it's got its drawbacks. Okay, folks. Well, unless we see another question pop up, it's 11 o'clock, so we've hit our limit. I appreciate you joining us. Please join us next time. We're going to try and do educational sessions throughout each of these broadcasts while we answer the questions. And I hope you had a good experience with the audio, the video. I think we did okay today. So if there's nothing else, we're going to say good day and thank you very much for your time. Okay, guys, thank you.